It, I love you, a bushel and a peck. I'm watching. I smashed the like button, subscribed, hit the bell. What else? I say, Jim frickin' Lujan, what is up? I haven't heard from Jim Lujan in forever. How are you, buddy? Wow. I wish there was an easier way to see that my mic is working. I just want to know that my mic is working. Gosh, wow, thanks guys. All right, let me brr burby brr brr. Cobley, you broke the like button, you son of a bitch. I need that for people to smash. I need people to be able to smash that like button. Okay, let me see. Cancel. All right. Hello, John. Hello, Bernie. Let's draw live with Scott. We had our first Mark and Scott won a podcast live stream last night and had a ball. We had a ball. You put a PvP Easter egg in an upcoming strip. What? Well, I look forward to watching or seeing that. Very much so. I see it. That's pretty great. Kringus lives. I was considering doing a little Kringus thing. This year, but it's been a weird end of the year, so not a little bit crunched for time. Not sure I can do it this year, but we shall see. All right, well, the stream is, I guess, officially starting. Good morning. It is I, Scott Kurtz, 25-year veteran of the industry, trusted member of the media, cartoonist, children's author, Eisner and Harvey award-winning. What else? Unemployed, down the dumps, behind on deadline. Dog lover. I love cartooning, and that's the only thing that's currently keeping me going. Today, that's right, Truth, Justin, and the American Way. What a fun project that was. All right, we are going to work on a commission here And I'm going to pull up some information here. So, saw your mail about having a drawing of an RPG character done by you. I backed it right away. My son has been a fan of yours since you were on the original Ack Inc. podcast. I don't know how long ago. Well, it's been at least a decade. Anyway, he met you at Emerald City Comic Con where he was maybe 12. Good Lord. And you were extremely nice to him. Thank God. And I've never forgotten. He's now in his early mid-20s, and he's been playing this character for 4.5 years now. We just made level 19 as a party. Congratulations. And at the end of the campaign is near. Oh, I would love to get him this character drawn by you. I will attach some pictures of his 3D printed miniature. We do have a painted version, but I don't know where it is. He's a dwarf wizard, as is not too obvious from his miniature. Okay, dwarf wizard. So I see a dwarf here with some nice slicked back hair, and he is shooting like a cool skull out of his hand, like a flaming skull. That would be fun. All right. So we are going to do a dwarven wizard. Goodness gracious. Man, I was up pretty early. The dogs, I think like 5:30. And Fed had been made breakfast and did a little bit of stuff around the house. And then like the old man that I am, I crashed hard again. And yeah. So I shouldn't have done that because that always makes me feel really groggy and terrible. But I did. I really, really did. And yeah, so not the smartest move. All right, how do I want to do this? Give me a happy ending every time. Give me a happy ending every time. Do you guys remember the pirate movie? Do you guys remember that when you were growing up? That's the 80s. You guys won't remember the pirate movie. No way. I know CG remembers. Right? Who didn't? Give me a happy ending every time. All right, hold on. Let me see what this guy looks like. He's got kind of a, well, he's got a big bird. He's got a very big beard. And collars and a cape. Okay. So we're going to have a bird. For sure. We're going to have a lot of fun hair. Because this guy definitely has this wispy hair. He seems to have like a very specific mustache or a very defined mustache. Right? Yeah, it was it was like an 80s kind of parody of the Pirates of Penzance. And it was just this really wonderful, goofy. I don't even know how to describe it. It was definitely an 80s comedy. Let's put it that way. There were penis jokes in it for sure. Let me see. This guy. He seems to have like a cape, and he's got a beard and two braids. Okay. I don't think it was as it wasn't as wacky as Top Secret. That was an Abrams type comedy like Airplane. It wasn't that goofy. It was way more mainstream than that. reference. I need a hand reference. Hmm. I've drawn this before. I know that I have. But would be his right hand. No, it would be his left hand. Hmm. That's might be it, but backwards. There, that would work. Ugh. Hold on. What? I don't. What's going on? Why did that happen? I don't. I want. All right. We'll simplify here in a second. Ow. Ow. And then he has more there. Hold on a second. What's this, Bernie? After 13 years, I'm going to end my current webcomic project with a new and final animated short. It's going to be a living hell to produce, but I'm going to try and enjoy the project. Wow, that's ambitious. It's pretty cool, though. If you're not a little bit scared while you're working on something, then you're not where you need to be. Always should be just a little bit scared about, what you're going to do next. Then you know you're doing something interesting, right? So. You don't need luck. You're going to kill it. What'd I just do? Yeah, I've got that dumb song in my head. I should just play it. And I can get it out of my head. I wonder if that's on YouTube anywhere. It's gotta be. It's gotta be. Let me see. YouTube. Let's see. Well, be careful typing in happy ending. We'll go pirate movie. Happy ending. Oh, I just got that. Is that what the whole is that what that was a reference to? Don't please. Oh, I didn't even think about that. Why would me playing one of their YouTube videos that's available on their platform get me muted? That makes sense. But that doesn't make a difference really. Every time. Give me a happy ending every time. I'm sorry. Listen, I'm thick. Give me a happy ending every time. Time. Give me a happy ending every time. Hey, Angie. End of the pirate movie. Happy ending. Was that a double entendre? There's no way. I'm asking you. I think they legitimately meant it like a happy ending to the movie. Okay. I'm glad we agree. Yeah, they sang together at the end. It was all bad guys and good guys. I, I mean, it could have been. Don't get me wrong. I'm pretty naive when it comes to that kind of stuff, but I certainly missed it. I never even thought about it that way until just now. My wife, who is an expert on the pirate movie, says no. And she is an expert. Come on, Scott. Can I get back that skull I drew? Maybe I want it. I can't get it. Oh. Okay. I got it. There we go. I hate when I do digital drawing gasps when I'm on the wrong layer or something like that. And I just gasp. Like, all right, take it easy. It's not that terrible of a thing. I do it all the time. It's like involuntary. Like that. Eh. Okay, this will be my inks. I can close that for a second. All right, let's ink this. Oh. Hey, Donald. What's up? Are you late to the funny? No. Nothing funny happening here today, sir. They've been good at showing that. Mm-hmm. Hey, Matt, how's it going? No, I'm not excited about 2025 at all. Not at all. Terrified. And so should you be terrified. Nothing to be excited about. That's so awful. What did this guy say the commission was called? I don't remember what he said the commission was called. What is this character's name? I guess I don't know. I never got the character's name. So I'll just put this down as Jeremy. It's a dwarf wizard, although in the little thing he sent me, he's shooting a skull out of his hand, so I think maybe necromancer. Hold it. What I got here? What? Okay. Hmm. Dropbox. Table Titans commissions. Give me a happy ending every time. Give me a description of your character. Every time you get a back rub. All right, I haven't heard from him. Male dark elf druid, 475 years old. Likes to drink and brew beer, obsidian in color, pale white hair that appears to shimmer in various lights. Good Lord, these descriptions. Eye color, pale blue. She knows this is a black and white commission, right? All right. Do they? You're not wrong. They always see how far they can push it. I mean, yeah, I don't blame them. I think everyone just gets really excited about their character. I don't blame them. D&D is fun. It is really fun, and the best part is making up the character for sure. Final checklist ahead of Chartable 12, December 12th sunset. What? I get the weirdest emails, man. Well, I've been streaming an hour. I finished my commission. I'm happy to keep going because I'm just going to work on my graphic novel now. So if you want to bail, I get it. If you want to hang out, please continue to hang out. Oh, I need to do something to pick myself up, man. I am in a mood this morning. Yeah. If you're on YouTube, if you're watching me on YouTube, why don't you subscribe to the channel? Why not? Why don't you like and subscribe? Is everyone bummed out that they caught the CEO killer? Is that what's going on? Are we all bummed out they caught him? I mean, nobody wants violence, but nobody wants CEOs that are super excited about record profits from denying people cancer treatment either. I think the general consensus why the killer did it, you don't know why the killer did it? I bet I know why. I think the general consensus has been if you see this man, no, you didn't. Oh, I see what you're saying. Well, as someone who has just lost his health insurance because we're between jobs, and found out today that my therapy gets to stop now when I really don't want it to. I'm very, very bummed about it. I'm very upset. We're in a good spot and we've been doing good work, but I really wanted to talk to him one more time at least, and I just can't afford to because it's like out of pocket. It's like $220 a session, but mental health's not a real thing, so who cares? And our system is really shitty, and so I don't get to now. I don't get to talk to him anymore. So, yay, I'm on my own. but that's okay. I mean, I'm lucky. We did a lot of really good work together and I'm in a good spot, but it was nice to have him to talk to if I was not feeling great. And I don't have that now. So, what are you gonna do? I'll get health insurance again when we get the job situation sorted, and then hopefully I can keep talking to him. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Oh, no, I'm not super good at the shell thing. I work things out by talking. And I got a buddy that I talk to, my best friend, and I got my wife and I've got my brother. So I got a good support structure, but it was nice. It was nice having that neutral uh kind of person to talk to. He had a nice voice too. It's really soothing. I shall miss it. Oh man. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I didn't even think about that. I never really understood the whole. So, what's the deal? John, come explain this to me. Let me put my headset on. Hold on.
Okay, I don't have a camera set up.
You don't need one.
Okay.
Skip it. Skip the camera. Just be a disembodied voice. Okay, explain this to me. I know that there are French-speaking parts of Canada,
Yep.
but I don't understand the whole cultural divide. There's a whole thing going
Oh,
on.
it is a whole thing. So Quebec as a province is the main French part. There are
Right.
some places that are around Quebec that are also French. Like if you cross into the border of Ontario, there are communities that are also very French.
Okay, so help me understand this too, because I went to public school. We have states. We're a country of states.
Yes.
You don't have states.
Well, I'm American, but Canada is
Right. Canada doesn't have
something.
states.
Yeah.
They
They
have
have provinces.
provinces. All right.
And so the province of Quebec, which actually Quebec was the land that extended all the way down, was the Louisiana Purchase as well.
Okay.
So like St. Louis and everything, that was part of Quebec back in the day.
Oh, all right.
I just found this out recently, so it's weird because I used to live in Quebec apparently,
Oh, okay.
and now I live back in Quebec. But so the French up here is not only is it an identity kind of thing, it's a way for the more conservative people to push back at people that are brown and stuff. It is a
Oh shit! Is
yeah,
that what it is?
that's a big part of it. There's the CAQ, the some kind. It's basically the right wing, the MAGAs of Quebec, effectively.
Okay.
And the Prime Minister of Quebec is Legault, and he is very much a conservative, and like he
Hold
just
on.
met
There's
with
a separate prime minister for that province?
all the provinces have a prime minister, yes,
Okay.
and then Quebec, and then Canada as a whole
So then
has
what's
their own.
Trudeau? Okay.
Trudeau is in charge of Canada. All the other ones are in charge of their states. They're like governors,
Okay.
whatever,
Gotcha.
premier, whatever. He's a guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Mr.
No.
Christopher. No, I'm being corrected in the chat.
Oh, I see. Mugridge knows.
Yeah, I'm. You know, I also went to American public school.
Yeah. Go easy on
And
me.
so I have, like, I see things, and it's like I don't learn that much about it, but I encounter it. So yeah, there's a lot of anti-brown people stuff going on up here, and like there was before COVID, they had put into effect anti-mask laws, which were basically you can't have a hijab on going into public transit and everything. And they're saying it's for public safety because they don't want people that could potentially be trying to uh, hide their identities from cameras and stuff like that, etc. But it's entirely religious based persecution and stuff.
Yeah.
So the French part is really annoying. Like I would say at least 75% of the people in Montreal can speak English, probably better than a lot of people in the States. But there's large sections where I live in Hochelaga that are what this group called the Quebecois, where they are French first, French only. They want people to be to where
Right.
if you go to a coffee shop or donut place and you want to order something, if you don't try to order it in French, they will just be like, no.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And so, right, what I was saying is my girlfriend, she works in the veterinary field, and she's currently got a bunch of drama, and so she's talking off all this French going on, and every once in a while there'll be a word that doesn't translate, so she's doing it in English, and I get that, and I'm like, okay, something's weird going on, but yeah, no, French is like like up here they are big on French because they're saying like the number one thing is Montreal is the largest uh, per capita French speaking city in the world. It's larger than Paris and stuff.
Okay.
And so they swear that the French language is under attack because they are concerned about all the refugees that are brought in or immigrants. And they spent last year they spent $670 million on a program for advertising about protecting the French language. They have a French language police force,
What
effectively,
does that mean?
where if you have a business that has more than 50 employees, you cannot have conversations that are not in French. You cannot have memos that are not in French. And if you can be reported by somebody that is like being subjected to having to hear English in the workplace, and you can be fined. There's restaurants up here that if their name is not in French, like there's a little breakfast place called Kitchen 73. They've been fighting the language police for years. Like I've known about them since I've been coming up since 2015. They get fines all the time because they're not Cuisine 73.
Oh.
So like
Lord.
it's super random on who can get around it because Burger King exists as Burger King,
Sure. Well.
but Kentucky Fried Chicken can't be Kentucky Fried Chicken.
What do they have?
They are PFK, Poulet Frites Kentucky.
Okay.
So it's super random on who can get around things, and it's got to be basically people that pay, it's like lobbyists or something.
And then the reason why, I mean, why doesn't Trudeau or whoever's in charge just go, no? Dumb.
I don't know. It's weird also up here with the elections. McDonald's is still McDonald's. The elections are weird up here coming from an American. like in the United States, if you have a third party or some like Green Party or somebody, those votes are effectively just thrown away.
Right.
Up here, say there's 3 different people that are running that are associated liberal parties. If their liberal party candidate doesn't win, they can give the votes from their other liberals to Trudeau. So Trudeau has won the elections the last 3 times at least with a minority. The conservative guy has gotten more votes than Trudeau, but the other people have given their votes to Trudeau.
Oh.
Yeah, it's super wild.
And he can go more than 2 terms, unlike in America.
They've had several. They have several like weird times, like during lockdown and everything. He called for an election. He's like, "You think I'm doing a bad job? Let's just have an election."
Oh wow! And he won.
Yeah. Well, the had enough votes that were given to him to qualify to win. Yes.
Okay. Interesting.
It's weird. There's a lot of cultural differences coming from somebody that grew up for 40 years in the Midwest, and then come up here and seeing things differently. It's so wild. Like,
Yeah.
stores close down earlier on the weekends than they do during the weekdays.
That makes sense. That's not necessarily a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing. It's just wildly different from what I'm used to.
Yeah.
So like, oh, it's 6 o'clock in the evening on the weekend. Well, crap. I can't go to the like Walmart.
Yeah. Yeah, that is weird. I was watching this morning I put on the sequel to Sicario, the second one. And yes, Jan, as I can see the chat. And the Benicio del Toro character, Alejandro, they're driving in through the Mexican border, and he goes, I always forget the appetite of this place. And Brolin says, "Welcome to America." I thought that was a good way of putting it.
Yeah,
Appetite of America.
There's just so many things that like I have to like pull myself back and be like 50% just dealing with other people, and because you just get you're painted with the brush of being a loud American.
Right. Wow. Okay.
Like every once in a while, it'll snap out of me where I'll just be like, "Whoa, wow, that I'm being loud American," and I'll see it, and it's just like,
Yeah.
okay, I have to dial back. And typically, it's when there's a major inconvenience kind of thing, and it's just like, oh, okay, I see, okay, yeah. Or when my parents come and visit, and you see that on them, and you're just like, oh yeah, okay. Because I work pretty hard at staying back. Plus, it doesn't help that my dad is a Trump supporter. So,
oh, geez. Yay. Well, I hope he enjoys the next 2 years.
I have
we'll
no
see.
idea
Then we'll
how
see what
things.
happens.
I have no idea how I'm gonna survive this if Project 2025 actually does what they say they're gonna do.
Well, but you're in Canada, so
But the thing is, Patreon has been having nothing but trouble from like MasterCard
yeah.
about the whole not safe for work stuff. And if MasterCard decides to go, well, it's not going to be a thing that we want to support because majority of our clientele is in this area and we're going to abide by that laws or something. They could easily just say, all right, we're not going to do this on Patreon.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping things don't shovel out that way, but I'm concerned.
What's Geiger say?
He's also being concerned about it, but he hasn't like made like a lot of his ideas out there other than like he was talking with you guys about like I might shift into Kidlit.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I don't know. It's gonna be a lot of waiting and seeing from a lot of people.
Yeah.
Like I can't guarantee that Patreon would buckle to it, but with Mastercard and PayPal and them already giving them problems about it, I could see them saying, "Yeah, let's just not deal with it." But I don't know.
Well, I hope it all works out because I know that I know it's been really successful for Brad and for a lot of people. I couldn't do it. I don't
Yeah,
I don't have enough experience.
Brad. There was a Facebook post on some random cartoonist thing years ago, probably like 2014. So it's at least been a decade, I guess, where people were struggling with their Patreons, and they're asking for people that had a fairly decent Patreon campaign, what was their secret to their success. And I was like, well, you can't. What my success is not really easily replicable unless you have an audience already that's interested in seeing your characters naked. And
Yeah, I guess.
and so Geiger was in that group, and he's looking at my Patreon, and my Patreon at the time was outdoing his probably by double. And
Was
so
he not safe for work yet?
no, this was well before he started that.
Okay.
I like this conversation that I had with him was his like he started the not safe for work stuff like a week after that because of a 2-hour conversation I had with him.
Yeah, he
Because
told me. He told me
he
that he
was
had that you helped out a lot.
yeah, he was originally like he saw my post and he called me up because he had my number, and so we had like a 2-hour conversation, and I had to talk him down from so many ideas which would have made uh his Patreon campaign far less successful. He wanted to create an entirely new set of characters and all this stuff, and I'm like, no, the reason why people would want to see a Brad Geiger thing is to see, his
Yeah, they
buxom
want to see.
super villains that he's already had an establishment with. And then he's like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. And I was like, never call it porn.
No, yeah.
And so he took all that to heart, and he's well dwarfed my campaign. So good for him. But yeah, it's scary if everything happens the way that they want it to happen.
I am interested in how
Well,
successful they're
the
gonna
reason
frickin'
why they
be.
want to they want to get rid of stuff like that is apparently it's a way of policing language, they say.
What do you
Because
mean?
there's a lot of the not safe for work content out there that could be labeled as pornography kind of thing, which would fall under the blanket ban. There's a lot of LGBTQ stuff that's involved with that, which is
Right.
what they want to shut away.
That's what they want to shut away.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not that they just want to stop people from masturbating or something. They want to hide the fact that trans men and women exist.
They can't handle it.
Nope.
They cannot fucking handle it.
And so that's the big thing. And so if you're not safe for work, like comics and everything, deal more with queer characters and trans men and women, you have more to risk, most likely.
You want to see something crazy? Let me show. I want to show you something. That this whole conservatives can't. They call everyone a snowflake, and then they lose their minds over anything LGBTQ. Like it shuts them down. Hold on, let me see if I can find this. Okay. All right. I found it. Hold on. I'm going to show you some drawings, okay? And you tell me. All right? Hold on. I don't have a problem with this. Don't get me wrong. Let me see. All right. Share screen. I'm going to stop sharing that, and I'm going to share a window. I'm going to share this. Okay, here we go. You ready? This is Underpants a Claus. This is an artist who every year
Oh yeah.
he does a Santa Claus in his underpants, a big bear with in his tidy whities.
Yeah, I had people asking me for that kind of stuff recently. I'm like, no,
Look at
I'm not
this
gonna.
one.
Yeah.
All right, now. Okay. Who do you think drew that?
I can read the signature, so it's not
But
about.
yeah, right? Like, okay, so he's gay, right?
Either that or enjoys certain
Or
aspects.
bi, or that's a kink. Like, he's into that. You don't draw that unless you're super into it, right?
Or you're being paid.
Oh no, he's not being paid.
Yeah,
It's just
they
a
like
fun thing he does every year.
when I
It's like in that movie, The Other Guys, when Mark Wahlberg claims that he learned how to dance so they could make fun of queers, and Will Ferrell's like, "You learned to dance ironically," and he's like, "Shut up." But clearly, he just loved to dance, but he had to excuse it. It's like, oh, come on, man. Just be you. Just be yourself. It's all right. And it's hard not to think when all these conservatives just lose their mind, that anything that shows that LGBTQ people exist, that if you could see their Pornhub history, it would just explain so much. They're so scared. So scared. Yeah, that Project 2025 stuff is scary, but
I have no idea if how successful they'll be at getting everything done because the people that are being appointed are not people that I say can say with any certainty would be able to get things done, but I don't know.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it is that he thinks he's doing or what he thinks he's going to pull off. I'm well past making any kind of prediction. I'm
Yeah,
hopeful.
I'm scared about things, but I'm not predicting anymore because
What's
like
the
you
point?
you talking about is like that living in that blue bubble, and I'm not really informed anymore.
No, I don't know what the hell's going on. Nobody does. It's a post information world.
I had to
We are post facts.
I had to completely tell YouTube just no longer recommend me these channels where I was watching stuff.
Yeah,
And
I
I was
can't.
like,
I can't.
I don't want to see their stuff anymore. Like I it's not stuff that I need to. It won't affect me that much. And like my
It's not and
dad,
it's not informing me. It's not helping me.
nope. And
And
like my
I
dad
don't feel like
spends
helping
so
them.
much time just watching his Fox News and all that bullshit. And then like he'd tell me stuff, and I'm like, spend your time doing something that's actually more worthwhile. Like he had his mother had passed, and he had gotten a lot of the stuff from from his dad from their place. Like he got his pool table, and so I like spend time playing pool on your dad's pool table. Don't just spend time effectively doom scrolling.
Yeah.
And so I have to take my own advice here and just buckle down and like reinvest myself back into my comic and everything. So I spent I it was over the there's over trying to do the math again. There's close to 1,600 comics that I had to manually re-upload, uh, and copying everything over, putting the dates and everything in there. So it's about 2 minutes a comic, and so you do the math. That was probably 100 hours plus.
Yeah.
And so that's several days of doing nothing but that. So I was just uploading comics and made my own site again, and getting that all set back up to where it's on me. I'm not having to deal with HiveWorks uh, and anymore, and just working on doing stuff that I can actually deal with and only focus on that. And I'm prepping another comic that will start in the new year.
I guess Hiveworks went to poop, huh?
They're doing okay for certain things still, I guess, but the CEO of HiveWorks has really stepped back and started working, trying to chase money in other aspects. And like when they started HiveWorks, they were 18, and
Okay.
so they were real like
Very
the word
hungry and
I'm
gung
look
ho.
yeah, gung ho. The word I was saying, it was cocksure, but that's the wrong kind of thing. Like they thought they were, you know, it was that youthful arrogance, but they had enough money that they could do a lot of things. But then they also did some things that weren't entirely on the up and up, with
Oh,
some Kickstarter monies and stuff, and they paid. There was a lot of problems early on with HiveWorks, but they fixed it and stuff like that. So it was hinky shit. But you know, they bankrolled the publishing and it was fine. But they stepped back mainly, I think, during COVID, and they've been spending most of their time in various Asian countries doing deals with like manga and anime places, and so they've been very hands off. And there's a couple different people that were in charge of things, and nobody really was fully taken back up the reins. And a lot of things just kind of got swept under, and nobody was paying that much attention. And I didn't ever get what I was told I was going to get. For me, all they really did is host my comic, and they had built a new site for me, which is good because the reason that they were hosting and built a site for me is my old site was very out of date, and WordPress got hacked, and I ended up having to have the new site at all for it, and it was always the hassle of moving back off of their content management system and going on to WordPress was going to be, tens, if not hundreds of hours,
Right.
because there wasn't a pipeline to move back off of that into WordPress. There's a pipeline to go from WordPress to Comic Control, which is what it's called, but there's so few people on the planet that use Comic Control, and even far less that have gone from Comic Control back to WordPress.
Yeah.
So I asked their tech guy to have my content zipped and sent to me and everything, and so I could start the process of offboarding. That never happened. I never got my information or anything, so I had to just do everything manually. But it was fine. I actually preferred doing it that way because there were broken links and broken like images and stuff that never made its way over to the site that had been active for over a decade. And like I never, in the little blurbs that you would post with a comic where it's not like the actual blog, but the comic blog thing. I had things in there that had no real purpose anymore because it'd be like, oh, sorry, today is late or something, and that's not needed, especially like a decade later. And so I was going through and I'd strip that out, or I'd strip out a broken link, or if I had mentioned somebody like you, because I had done so like in the past, I used to have like your Twitter link in there, but I'm completely divorcing my site from Twitter because I deleted my Twitter and everything early last month. And so I just went through and I changed all the Twitter links to people's Blue Skies if they had it. And then I'd go through and clean up other links, and this website no longer exists. Well, okay, how am I going to do something about that? Or like, back in the day, there was a smaller webcomic that I was friends with people, and my characters guest starred in their comic because their comic was called Woody After Hours, which you may have remember it or not.
Remember Woody?
Yeah. So Woody,
about
it was a late night TV show was the conceit of it, and so different webcomic characters would become guests on the television show.
Yeah.
And so my characters had a couple week kind of thing on there, appearance on there, and one of like the human character was flirtatious with like the producer on the character on there, and both comics continued to reference it for a while. So my writing at the time was referencing things that happened on Woody After Hours, and those strips don't exist online currently because Woody After Hours, the website is barely functional and has only like one working image right now. So
Jeez.
like there was even a period of time where it didn't exist at all. So I contacted the writer and artist. I'm like, hey, I'm redoing my archive. These strips are important to the story of my comic. They don't exist currently. Can I put them in my archive? And
Yeah,
they're
that's
like,
smart.
yes. And I was like, okay, I'll give you your full credit. Like the artist, he doesn't do webcomics anymore or anything like that. So I just put his portfolio site as a link to his thing. He's like much appreciated, etc. I
That's
left
cool.
the majority of their comic blog text in there unless there was broken links or etc. And so
That's
now
a real
they're
smart way
in
to do it.
in now the story has the stuff that was referenced in that reading
Yeah,
experience.
that's better than it was before.
Yeah, I really liked it. I'm trying to get a hold of the artist again to see if he has the work files because all I have is the small,
Yeah,
uh,
the JPEGs
the,
or whatever.
the small JPEGs because on my new version of the site I'm uploading 2,000 pixels across, and the Chucheki or whatever how you say it will scale it down if your resolution's not that big.
Yeah.
So it would be nice when I get to those to have a larger work file, even if it's just like his the PDF that they did for the print on demand books. I could physically go in and chop it up myself if I have to, because I'm
How great
at
is
no
that guy too, Brian Leetu, who made Techie?
he's been pretty good. It's just getting like even with paying for the premium, I get maybe a response every
Oh, yeah,
36 hours or so.
yeah.
So that's the
He
only
does
problem I've had.
disappear. He does
Yeah,
disappear.
that's my only problem I've had with him. Um, trying to, and sometimes he, I don't know how versed he is actually with webcomics. I think he comes more from like understanding Webtoon, and like so, which it's if I'm trying to do anything that's from the previous generation of stuff, because I am an older guy,
Yeah.
it doesn't one translate entirely to him. So I'm trying to do things that make the design aesthetic of a older webcomic site work still to me, but it probably is worthless to do so.
Maybe.
But I got a pretty decent translation of my old site to my new site, and I don't have any ads on it because it wasn't worth it at all. I was making maybe $10 a month in ads, having like 3 ad spots on my site. And so I'm like, this is useless. I if I get 1 or 2 patrons, that'll easily take back that money. Why am I wasting
Yeah.
all this real estate? And so I just have on my the front homepage, I have the thing he calls the hero slider, where it's like it's got different
Yeah.
in-house ads where I link to my other comics and then to my Patreon, and then I have the one big one that's like, hey, are you a new reader? Start here.
There really just isn't an option anymore for any kind of effective web-based advertising, is there? It's all gone.
Like Project Wonderful went away in, was it 2018? And that wasn't even that great, but it's still better than what I've been was getting off of money from Hiveworks ads. I like, there was some other kind of Project Wonderful-esque thing that I saw somebody had started, but I guarantee it's you still be fighting for nickels and dimes.
Yeah.
I think I even deleted the link that I had saved originally. Because I was like, well,
I
I'm
wonder
not
if
even
that'll
going to
ever
bother.
turn around, or if we're just beyond that now.
I don't know. Everybody says Google's the people that killed it. Like putting like ad blockers into like Chromium browsers. I don't know entirely.
Apple helped kill it for sure.
And a lot of like webcomic sites, even like yours, you have just locked behind a Patreon paywall.
I
And
took that down. I don't anymore.
oh, you don't? Okay.
No, because nobody. If you're going to do content behind a paywall on Patreon, it has to be new stuff. Nobody
Yeah.
wants to pay for old stuff.
Yeah, like I was a couple months ago, I was wanting to look for something as a reference for PvP stuff, and I was like, oh yeah, it's Patreon locked.
No, it's not. You can go there now.
Okay.
The archive's not very friendly or searchable, but it's there.
It goes from like oldest to newest still.
Oh, you can dude, there's a pull down and you can choose month and date.
Okay, that's more than I need. But yeah, I'm also from the previous generation. Like I was like the generation after you guys. I started my comic in 2009. So I started reading PvP in 2004, I think.
Okay.
And after college, I was struggling trying to get jobs and everything. And I was like, well, I need to do something creative. And I was like, well, I can draw. And I've been reading PvP and a handful of others. I can try that.
I
And
could do
so
that.
I've been doing that since 2009.
That's awesome.
And like I started doing different comic style apparently, because when I was going through my old archive, I was realizing I told stories way differently back then. And so when I wrote this Christmas arc, I was like, well, I'm going to try and do this like I used to do it. And like I used to do different cameo Easter egg things from other webcomics and stuff like that, a couple times PvP. So that's why I put in the
Kringus.
because it kind of made sense, because they're in a multiversal Santa tribunal thing, and Kringus has stolen the power of Santa and stuff.
Perfect.
And then there's another small Easter egg kind of thing. There's the robot Santa from Futurama. You can see like his arm, and people have pointed out on my Patreon that I've seen it. They're like, "Is that the robot Santa from Futurama?" I'm like, "Yep." Then I have an alien Santa Claus. I have an adult animation like Rick and Morty style Santa Claus. There's like a Miracle on 34th Street black and white movie Santa Claus. So they're just different versions of Santas from the different multiverses. It's entirely stupid. I know.
No, it's fun.
Yeah, it's a stupid Christmas story. It doesn't have to make that much sense.
Just have fun. That's all that matters
Yep.
anymore.
There's been people that were complaining. They're like, "This doesn't make sense." When the whole naughty and nice. He knows when you're sleeping and good. I'm like, it's because the events happening because in my comic there was a reboot and the previous incarnation of a character had run-ins with Santa Claus, and so the current incarnation, who has never seen them, is suffering the wrath of it. And so they're like, this goes against Christmas law. I'm like, it's fine.
You'll be all right.
Yeah, it's like, it's fine, dude. Chill out.
That stuff is always a kind of a double-edged sword because you're like, just leave me alone. Just let me get this story done. And then, but the other part is like, it's cool that they care. It's cool that they're
Yeah.
invested.
And it's like, Santa Claus is a villain in my comic. Like, even though the hero is a zombie that has eaten people, Santa Claus and him are antagonistic. And so it's like, and I had to explain to him my thinking was, we're setting up the antagonism in a way that's like the reason that Terminator caused the birth of John Connor. If they never sent back the machine to kill his mom, he would have never been born, and they would just have won. So
that's true. God, I never thought about that.
Yeah, there's that time loop paradox. So these Santa Clauses have created their own enemy by taking it out on a guy who didn't even know that they existed. And I was like, think about it that way. And they're like, okay.
The Kringus stories were always fun because they didn't really make a lot of sense. They were just goofy. I always enjoyed doing them.
Yeah, drawing Kringus was an exercise because I had to make him as much like your style to be recognizable, but still enough my style to fit in the panel.
Yep.
And so there was elements that I'm like, okay, I have to do his eyes exactly like Scott does. Oh. The tree I can fake.
Well, the eyes are Scooby-Doo eyes. Those eyes are from like the opening of Scooby-Doo, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it makes sense now that you say it, but the only flaw in having Kringus be in there is in the comic, in the Legacy timeline, so before the reboot, one of the characters that's in that scene dressed up as Skull in the comic for a Halloween costume. So he would have had knowledge of the character.
Maybe.
But again, this is the reboot, so maybe he doesn't have the same knowledge.
If someone figures that out, just send them a zombie roomie, no prize.
There you go. That comic won't go up till next Monday, I think. I don't know. I'm actually ahead for one of the few times, and
There you go. What's that like?
it's crazy.
What's that
'Cause-
feel like?
Starting my comic and everything, watching you do the stream and you'd post it in the afternoon, I just got used to that was normal.
Yeah. Just take my bad example and run
I
with it.
did. And now I'm like, I don't want to do that anymore.
Oh, it's bad.
And so it actually also does give a reason for people to, spend some money on Patreon. They get to see the stuff earlier. So there's that value for them if they just don't want to see, the naked peoples.
There you go. Who dat was?
That's my cat, Danny.
He's a kitty cat. I heard a kitty cat.
Yeah, she's starting to get hungry for dinner. Around 5 o'clock, she starts going, "Hey, feed me!"
Meow.
I'll shut her up. I'm giving her some food. First, I have to give her pills.
Oh, I miss Scratchy. My buddy.
Did you have to give him medication?
No, I just miss him in general.
Okay.
He never was sick or needed medication. He was fine, and then all of a sudden he just stopped eating and got real skinny, and the vet was like, I don't know. It could be
Yeah,
a million
probably
things.
kidney failure when they get older.
He's 16. I don't know. We don't know
Yeah.
what it is. And there was a bunch of tests, and I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's
Like
time.
coming out this year, there's going to be a vaccine for cats that will basically give them almost most cats will give them an extra decade.
Jeez, wow. What?
Yeah. So there's in South Korea, there's a guy who worked on a feline kidney disease thing.
Are you talking
And-
30-year-old cats?
Yeah. So because most cats at around 16, 18, 20 years old start going into kidney failure. And that's the number one killer of cats. And so he developed this I guess it's a vaccine kind of thing. It's some kind of thing that works against that kidney failure. And even in cats that they have given it to that are in the latest stages of the kidney failure, they start going into remission and drop their life expectancy.
Jeez.
Yeah. And so they're going to have it come out, I think, this summer, and for the general populace. And they're going to make it be fairly inexpensive.
$400 a pill.
No, it's about be like $400 maybe for like the entire treatment.
Yeah.
But it's supposed to be fairly inexpensive, and it would give you years on your cat.
Wow.
But we likely won't give it to this cat here because she has IBD, where her entire digestive system from mouth to anus has problems.
Okay.
Yep, and so she
Good
had
Lord.
to have her every tooth removed.
No.
Yeah, and
What's she chewing with?
she doesn't chew. She'll eat dry kibble, like a goose.
Stop. Really?
Yeah,
No.
We have 3 of our cats have no teeth.
Come on, what are you doing over there?
It was not inexpensive, but luckily my partner, she works in the vet field, so she was able to get things effectively at cost. We have 10 cats and a dog
Oh, stop it. Where are you living?
in Montreal.
On a farm?
No, we live within, like, I can walk outside and I can see the Olympic Stadium.
10 cats?
Yep.
You're out of your fucking mind, John. 10 cats and a dog.
Yep. We used to have more dogs.
Are you in an apartment or a house?
An apartment.
I'm going to kill you. Angie, is it time for lunch and Sister Wives? Did I just mute my... What? My stomach's in here going... You still hear me, John?
Yeah, I hear you.
All right. Yes,
So
I can hear you, Fandango.
You were talking with your wife, so I decided I'll just be quiet.
What's up?
Back about one of the, or you,
They can't see. They can only hear.
I heard back about one of the positions I applied for. They'd like me
Yeah.
to move forward with an interview, but I first have to write a statement about what I've done in my life and career to combat racism.
What? What's the job?
Executive assistant to VP at Fred Hutch,
What's Fred Hutch?
the hospital system here in Seattle.
Good pay?
Excellent pay.
Okay, well, I'll help you write that. What you've done to combat racism
In my life and career.
in your life and career.
Uh-huh.
Hold on, the comedian in me is kicking in. That's not going to be helpful.
Yeah, that's one of the things they require.
Probably not enough. I mean, that's the honest answer. Probably not enough.
Sure. I think that qualifies as a statement.
No. I'm trying to think of how I would answer it.
They sent me a website to give me some guidelines, which I'll have to check into, but
The website is ChatGPT.
John goes, the website is ChatGPT. Just go, well, I married a black man. How are they going to check? They can't check.
And if they do check, you just have a whole Rachel Dolezal thing. You can go viral and
Did you ever
start your
date a black guy,
OnlyFans.
Anthony? No.
did I?
Yeah, did you ever date a black guy?
No.
Racist. Maybe you shouldn't answer the question. Why'd that make you laugh? Racist. I'm surprised you didn't ask me back.
I know the answer.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
You do not.
Yes, I do.
What's the answer?
You have not.
Not from lack of trying. Just because she wouldn't say yes doesn't mean I didn't ask. But I've told you the story about when I double dated with Reggie, right?
Yeah.
My poor mom. So
Your mom was very upset.
you know the Reggie in the comic strip?
Yeah.
He was based on my friend Reggie Dixon.
actually blind?
Yes. Yeah. Reggie had a tumor grow up against his optic nerve. It was a benign tumor, and it grew from him childhood up till like 16. And they found it, and the doctor said, "Okay, so the good news, it's benign and we can remove it. Here's the bad news. It's been slowly growing up against your optic nerve for years, and it's pushed your optic nerve. Like your optic nerve has been moved because the tumor grew against it, but it's adjusted because it's had years to move. We're not going to take years to remove it. We're going to remove it. That's going to jostle that optic nerve. You could lose your sight." And so that's why he went blind at 16. So he could still see a little bit. He could see kind of like shapes and some light.
Yeah, we have a blind
Not-
cat that can see
not a
about the
lot.
same kind of thing.
Yeah. But we went on a double date one time, and the girl that he went on a date with was amazing. She was so smart and so gorgeous. And we told, like, Reggie's mom and I sat with him and said, "You need to do whatever you can to keep this girlfriend. She's amazing." And he blew it. But we went on a double date, and I was with a girl named Crystal, and we all walked in together. I don't know why we went to my house first. Why the fuck would we go to my house? We walked into my house, and my mom saw me walk in and then Reggie's girlfriend walk in and thought that was my date. So she thought my date was an African American girl. When we came back later, she said, "When you walked in with her, I thought that was your date and I lost it." And I was like, "Whoa, why would you lose it?" And she's like, "Well, I thought you were dating that black girl." And I'm like, "What would be wrong if I was dating the black girl?" And she's like, "Well, what if it worked out? What if you guys fell in love and got married?" I'm like, "So who cares? It's not like when you were growing up." And then she was like, "Oh, Scotty, it would be so hard. You would always have to deal with racism and people treating you differently, and then your child would be born, and the child wouldn't be accepted by the white group, and they wouldn't be accepted by the black group, and it would just be awful." We were like, and Reggie was like, "Mom, it's not like that now." And she's like, "That's not true. That's not true." Yes.
Well, you still have leftovers from last night, right?
Yeah, go get them.
You want one of these as well?
I thought you were asking me by showing me that, so I said yes, sounds good. But if you want them both, you can have both.
Oh, no, I don't want both.
Okay,
Which one would you like?
doesn't matter. The one with the least stuff on it. Yeah, I don't need all the extra junk. What are the two kinds? I don't remember.
Combo
Yeah,
and the cheese.
yeah, I'll have the cheese. Tostino party pizzas, the $1 pizzas. Are they even $1 anymore? No, they're the best. They're the best frozen pizza. I don't care what anybody says. I will fight you.
What I liked doing when I was in college with those is I'd get the hamburger ones,
Yeah.
and then I would take relish, mustard, and ketchup and put on top of them, and then put it in the oven.
Eat mine in there. You can have it.
Oh, no, I didn't eat that one already because of the giant onion.
Oh, the giant. That's right.
It's onions.
Angie, your life would be so much better if you liked
I
onions.
wish I liked them. I want to like them.
My girlfriend doesn't like onions either. It's so
You should go
freaking
see a
annoying.
hypnotist.
Oh, sure. Let me do that.
Does she? Will she eat green onions?
What about green onions, Angie?
Turn on the fire. No.
No.
At least Vivian will at least eat green onions.
You don't mind them if they're cooked up a little bit, though.
If they're not a little bit, they need to be completely cooked and disappear in a sauce or something.
Okay. Did you hear that?
Yeah, that's the same. I can get them by Vivian if it's done that way too.
Yeah.
They've got to
'Cause
be.
I do all the cooking, and so it's real. She's real picky about onions, but I'm also real picky about other things, so I can't
For the
complain
record.
that much.
Vivian, excellent name.
Yeah, and it's spelled. She's a guy. It's spelled weird too, so it's she can never get like a
A
one of those
nameplate at Disney World.
nameplates. Yeah, it's Viviane.
No, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
What's Angie? What's going on? Were you talking to me?
Just talking.
Just talking, huh?
I do that occasionally.
How the hell are you supposed to answer? What have you done to combat racism in your personal and professional life? Okay, I like John's suggestion. Hold on a second. Here we go. We're going to solve this right now. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Time keeps on slipping, slipping, slipping. Battling racism. I've applied for a job and I've made it to the interview portion. I have been asked to make a statement detailing what I've done in my private and personal life to combat racism. I am a straight, white female who grew up in the South. What the fuck am I going to say? All right, here we go, Angie. The magic of AI is going to solve this problem. Elon Musk is going to solve this problem for you. Boom. First of all, congratulations on making it to the interview stage. That is very important, Angie. It's great that you're thinking deeply about how to address this question. It's an important opportunity to reflect on your values and actions. Given your background, honesty and self-awareness are key. You don't need to have been an activist or done grand gestures. What matters is your acknowledgement of the issue and the steps you've taken, big or small, to create a more inclusive environment. Here's how you could approach it. Reflect on your awareness and education. Mention any personal efforts to educate yourself on issues of racism and systemic inequality. You should talk about that book that you read, the lady with the short white hair that did all those experiments. We love that shit. Yeah. For example, books you've read, workshops or discussions you participated in, or even moments of reflection and learning in life. Growing up in the South, I became aware of the lasting impact of systemic racism and the importance of addressing it. I've worked to educate myself on these issues by reading works by authors like Ibram X. I don't know who that is. Ibram X. Kendi, and attending local events focus on fostering racial understanding. Well, you did move to a blue state. I got out of Texas because I couldn't take it anymore. Highlight everyday actions. Hey, hold on one second. Shut up! Ten cats. John has.
Yep.
They're quiet.
They are quiet. Well, sometimes.
Quieter than dogs.
Talk about how you make choices in your daily life that continue to. Do you mind, Thumper? Did you hear that, John?
Yes.
Do you know what that was?
I'm assuming
That
it
is
was either
Charlie Brown, my basset, scratching himself.
okay,
but-
it was either a scratch or a tail. Couldn't tell.
He was scratching, and he's such a big, lumpy, floppy piece of shit that every time he scratches, his leg hits the hardwood floor and he thumps. Okay. Maybe you've supported Black-owned businesses, stood up against microaggressions, or made efforts to build inclusive friendships or professional networks. That is true.
That is true.
I know that your support of LGBT stuff isn't considered combating racism, but
But
it's in a similar vein.
It's diversity. It's inclusivity.
In my personal life, I prioritize supporting diverse voices, such as shopping at minority-owned businesses and amplifying perspectives and underrepresented groups and conversations. Acknowledge learning moments. If there was a pivotal moment where you realized you could do better or learned a valuable lesson, it's okay to share it. It shows growth.
Okay.
Got to think about that one. There was a time you should say, I learned that you never call retarded people retards. You call your friends retards when they're being retarded. Isn't that what Michael J. Scott said in that episode?
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't use that quote. Express a commitment to continue action. Racism is a deep and ongoing issue, and showing that you've committed to learning and improving goes a long way. While I recognize there's always more to learn, I remain committed to listening to others' experiences, advocating for equality, and seeking out opportunities to grow in my understanding of these issues.
Well, that's a great line. I'll take that one.
If it feels comfortable and it's true to your experience, you might weave in personal anecdote that reflects your values. Keep your response genuine and focus on what resonates most authentically with you. Does this give you a good place to start? Yes, thanks. How do I know my employer, my future employer, won't be able to find out I got this answer from an AI?
From a robot.
Rest assured, your employer won't be able to directly trace your response to AI assistance, especially if you adapt it to your own voice and experiences. Ultimately, this advice is just a starting point. Once you refine it, it'll be a unique reflection of who you are. Thanks, Chad GPT. I call you Chad because I'm anthropomorphizing you so you're not as scary to me. You're welcome, Scott. I'm totally fine being Chad GPT. Happy to be your friendly, non-scary helper. Let me know if there's anything else you need. Real quick. And then in quotes, Skynet type AI says what? He said what back to me? Not funny, Chad. That's the greatest interaction I've had with Chat GPT. Real quick, Skynet type AI says what? What? Not funny, Chad. Fair enough, Scott. I got to tweet this. Hold on. I got to take a screenshot of this. Presented without comment. Post. You know what? I'll put that on Blue Sky too.
I deleted my Twitter. I just can't deal with it anymore.
I understand.
Well, when you, if you look at it, he paid $44 billion to buy an election, not a social media.
Oh, if only we could blame it on him. If only we could blame it on him.
I'm sure, there was a portion of it.
I don't think it helped, but I really do feel like enough Americans said, I know he's a piece of shit. I know he's a criminal. I know he's an adjudicated rapist, but I don't think he'll do enough damage, and I don't want things to be the same as they are. So I'm going to vote for change. I really do feel that was...
and there is enough people that are racist and or sexist.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean that he's got that locked down. I'm only talking about the people that he didn't have locked down.
Yeah, well, that is a
But I don't
viable.
think Kamala was a bad candidate. I
She
don't
wasn't a
think
bad
there's some
candidate. She just,
conspiracy.
there was enough people that said were like, I don't want a woman. I don't want a black woman.
Yeah, you might be right. And again, that might be my
Not everywhere is as progressive as like where like you hang your hat. There are
I get that,
large.
but we elected Obama.
It was a black man too, so there
No,
is.
yeah, I gotcha. And there's a part of me that feels like the only
I
reason
wish it
Obama,
wasn't the case, but it feels like there was.
no,
I saw
I
enough vitriol to where there's that swayed some people.
you might be right.
I don't think it was
It's
enough to
funny.
really change the outcome of it, but it's not like when, growing up and everything, you could see when a Democratic candidate wins, it's because people want to vote for them. When they lose, it's because they are voting for not the Republican.
What? Say that again?
When a Democrat wins, it's when people are voting for that person, i.e., Obama, Clinton. When a Democrat loses, John Kerry, they're voting. The people that are voting for Democrats are voting for not Bush.
Right. I got you.
So a lot of people that were voting for Kamala were voting for not Trump.
Yes, anyone but Trump was that. Yeah. Yes.
And when you have that dynamic, Democrats don't do well.
Yeah, you say that, but I don't think anyone was voting for Biden in 2020 because they loved Biden. Gotcha. Gotcha, John. Now what are you going to say?
Well, when Trump won in 2016, I thought Biden was probably the only candidate that would have potentially been able to have beaten him.
Yeah.
Because there was, at the time when he was not ready to run, after the death of his son and everything, he felt like the most winnable candidate.
Yeah, maybe.
And then,
I guess.
And then in 2020, he was still there a bit, and there wasn't really another super winnable candidate other than him that was out there. Like, if you look at the landscape now of the higher profile Democrats out there, there are some people that would do a great job, like a Buttigieg or something, but there's too many people that I don't think would want to vote for an openly gay president.
No, you think that no one wants to. You're convinced no one wanted to vote for a woman.
Yeah. So you have to find a candidate that people want to vote for, like a super openly charismatic guy. There has always been that whole meme that you'd have Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson would run for president. He'd frickin' win. People would want to vote for him.
Jon Stewart. Think about Jon Stewart.
There's a chance that people would want to vote for him.
Yeah, I would.
So, but the problem is, once they got the job.
Yeah. Hey, Charlie, I can see you from here.
Get out.
I see your tail, buddy. Hey, Charlie.
And I'm by no means, a political scholar or anything. This is entirely armchair quarterbacking. But that's the way it's always felt to me. Is you have to have somebody that people will go out of their way to get vote.
You moved to Canada. You don't even get to say. I don't want to hear.
I moved to Canada to be with a woman, not because of anything else. She was reading my comic, and I was like, "Oh, okay." came into a Google Hangout and we clicked, and I was like, all right, I guess I'm
10 cats later.
When I first started dating her, it was
This guy I'm talking
6
to,
cats.
his name's John, right? John
Yeah.
Wigger. He's a cartoonist, and he's talking to me while I work today. And he lives in an apartment in Montreal, and he's got 10 cats and 1 dog. Why? I don't know. His girl likes cats.
She likes cats.
It's so many cats.
It's a lot of cats. 6 girls and 4 boys.
All right. Well, I am done with this page. This 2-page spread. We've done it. We did a commission. We inked 2 pages. I think it's time to celebrate with a meal and an episode of Sister Wives.
Matt, no, the most that was ever gotten at one time was 4, and 3 of them exist to this day. One had to be put down for FIP, but then we've gotten a handful of others since then. When I first met her, she had 6 cats. I brought Danny, the one that was meowing earlier, and then she's gotten a handful since then.
No more cats.
I've said that 10 is my limit.
Vivian, no more cats.
But luckily, she does work in the vet field, so she gets, their expensive food and their medication and vet treatments
That
all at cost.
almost makes it okay.
Yeah.
Almost.
And then we have a little corgi,
Oh, what's your corgi's name?
Remy. So
That's a great
being up here, Remy is effectively like just naming your dog Peter, because Remy is a very French Canadian name.
What's that? Wah, 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 wah. I keep hearing that every once in a while. That's kind of cool. All right.
Might be my computer. I don't know.
Might be your mic. I don't know.
I have
well,
a Bluetooth headset, so the mic picks up things a little weird.
Gotcha. All right, guys. Well, thanks for watching the stream today. Thanks for keeping me company for the last 2.5 hours. I'll do it again this week for sure. John, thanks for hanging out.
No problem.
And I will see you guys all later.
Toodaloo.
Have a good one.